Previously on Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
One player primes the enemy by encasing them with encase abilities, and the other deals damage with shatter abilities. And I assume that that damage will be increased like the Anthem combo system when both parts of the combo are in effect.
And now, the conclusion.
If you're looking to combine freezing with destruction, look no further than the Shadebinder Super Winter's Wrath. Here, the Shadebinder summons their stasis staff and fires projectiles that instantly freeze opponents. The second stage begins and the fight ends when the Guardian raises their staff, detonates its stasis crystal, and sends a devastating shatter shockwave to disintegrate nearby frozen opponents. Does that one even count? I mean, really, anybody with a brain should have seen this coming, but then again, there were comments. Because there are always comments. It's almost like there are people whose entire argument, whose entire standpoint, when commenting on my videos, can be boiled down to being the polar opposite position I take, just so they can argue and try to talk shit. I mean, by all means, please keep it up. I get a good chuckle out of it every time, and it's always fun. I mean, free content, right? And hey, you chuckle fucks are the reason that the Joker is always right meme and the "But Joker" memes not only exist, but endure. So thank you so much for all you contribute to my content. But does this one count? Maybe yes, no, maybe so. We'll give it a 50-50 and a pass because I like the meme and this is my video. But let's go ahead and get this video started in earnest. What's going on, ladies and gents, boys and girls, guardians of all ages, Joker back again, once again, and welcome. So, the new subclasses, I've seen them, you've seen them, the entire Cosmodrome has seen them, and honestly, I really don't care to go over each piece of subclass specific information in this video because, let's be real, let's be honest, we don't quite know everything about each individual subclass. Obviously, they've just been kind of tentatively announced and shown off, so that video would be a lot of me going, "Ah yes, the Titan Behemoth can unleash a powerful melee attack known as Shiver Strike. This kinda sounds like Titan Slam. Let's read more. Here, the Titan lunges forward, kinda like in Titan Slam, launched by a stasis explosion at their feet to propel them towards an enemy. Kinda sounds like Titan Slam. While in the air, they can summon a stasis gauntlet that covers their fist, and then slam into their foes, sending them careening backwards and slowing nearby enemies. Okay, sounds like Titan Slam, but with like a couple of extra steps. Ooh boy, how hype is that? Let me tell you how excited I am to have the same super on a new class that I've been using for 5 years. Okay, that's probably my fault for playing the same class for 5 years, but hey, fucking details. It does not excuse the redundantness of this super. And while I'm sure that video would do great for views and be loved the internet over, I just don't feel like getting into that. At least not today. Unless you guys want it. If this video reaches 5,000 likes, maybe we'll see. Shit happens. I'm not saying. I'm just saying I can most certainly be bribed. So if we're not going into the minor spattering of details of each subclass that we know, what are we going to talk about? Well, ladies and gents, boys and girls, guardians of all ages, we're going to talk about how absolutely fan-fucking-tastic the new subclass systems look. I love that I can say that, by the way, and no one is going to challenge me in the same way they would if I said, I don't know, the subclasses look OP. You know, in that kind of same, "But Joker, you don't know that. The game hasn't come out," sort of way. Almost like there's a tad bit of hypocrisy within the Destiny community. When we're speculating in a good way, it's a-okay. But the very second you go, oh boy, I don't know about that, people will come out of the fucking woodworks and cry, "But Joker!" and list off all the ways you're not allowed to speculate on something because it's not released yet. You can say it looks cool, and that's fine. If you have questions about it, oh no. The Destiny community will fucking shit their dick. Digressions about how the Destiny community is full of fucking hypocritical fanboys aside, the new subclass customization looks fucking amazing. Like, I know I'm the guy who's portrayed as always being critical, if not a tad bit cynical of Bungie, and to a point, I tend to be. However, like anybody with a brain will tell you, I'm not negative, I'm just realistic. And some might say it doesn't help that Bungie is constantly giving me material. That said, I do like the chances where I get to be overwhelmingly positive about changes coming to the game. Don't get me wrong, we're not going brain dead, "Oh my god, this this is so fucking hype! Positive. Nothing's perfect, and everything can always be improved upon. But it would be the understatement of my YouTube career to not only say that these new subclass changes are a quantum leap in the right direction for the franchise, but this is how subclasses should have been from the beginning. In fact, my only fear outside of some balancing issues is that we'll get them and it'll actually be a lot more shallower than what they're displaying right here, and that there won't be as many options as they're making it seem like. The only other negative that comes to mind is the fact that it's a fucking atrocity that the old subclasses are not getting their rework with Beyond Light as well, because I have a feeling these new subclasses will make the old ones entirely irrelevant. But that's how they sell a DLC, so you at least gotta respect the hustle. But enough playing the fluffer, let's dive right into the meat and potatoes. Customizing stasis. If you play Destiny for long enough, you'll know that choosing the right subclass for each situation can be critical to the outcome of a fight. Titans have their bubbles, Warlocks have their wells, skilled Guardians know how important those abilities can be in a pinch. With Beyond Light and Stasis, we're giving you even more flexibility to customize your subclass to your style of play. Each Stasis subclass in Beyond Light will give players the ability to customize their abilities, like grenades, movement modes, class abilities, and so on with. In addition, we've added new layers of customization with the addition of aspects and fragments. Aspects manifest as physical items in the world, such as a crystallized Vex Conflux or a robotic fallen arm, for example. When slotted in, aspects will offer players new abilities among other effects. These abilities can be mixed and matched freely by the player. Many aspects will have space for fragments to be slotted in. Fragments are also physical items you can discover in the world that, when applied to an aspect, offer additional passive perks, such as stat bonuses that may come with penalties. Aspect upgrades are unique to each stasis class, while fragment slots are class agnostic. How players combine these two different types of upgrades will lead to a range of customization options. For example, a Warlock finds a Frost Pulse aspect in the world and equips it. This aspect augments their Rift ability, which now freezes an enemy caught in its field. The Frost Pulse aspect also has a fragment slot available, allowing further customization. This Warlock decides to slot in the Whisper of Refraction fragment that replenishes some of their class ability energy upon shattering enemies. They now have themselves set up with a nice 1-2 punch, and, if played skillfully, can use this combo frequently. So in the article, they actually show off the subclass customization menu, and perhaps I'm wrong, but it looks like you can equip multiple aspects, and each of those aspects can in turn have multiple fragments equipped to them. And as explained, the fragments and aspects modify the base core abilities of the subclass, which gets really interesting when we start getting into these abilities, like casting your Rift generates a shockwave that freezes nearby combatants. Now, this might sound a bit conspiratorial, but follow me for a second. That aspect sounds like it does something an exotic would do. Actually, it is something an exotic already does, the Vesper of Radius, which releases an arc shockwave when you cast your well. So, and here's the theory part, what if none of the current exotics work with the darkness subclasses? I mean, there's already a lot of exotics like Skullfort and young Ahamkara's Spine that are unique to subclasses already. So what if this aspect fragment system is taking over for exotic armor on darkness subclasses? And instead of designing a truckload of new exotics for just the darkness subclasses, all Bungie has to do is design a Destiny 1-like artifact and stick an ability on it. Then call it a day. And then use the excuse that darkness subclasses can't use exotic armor, so they never have to design exotics for them. I mean, let's be real, let's be honest, let's be real honest. Designing exotic armor has always been somewhat of a struggle for Bungie. We might get one piece of new exotic armor per class every 6 months or so. So instead of making models for exotic armor, they're just making a logo tied to a subclass, and design the perk around that. Hell, if they do it that way, exotic perk creation turnaround for these artifacts could be crazy, hypothetically speaking. That said, it takes them forever to put new perks into the game for weapons, so I'm not going to hold my breath. But theoretically speaking, it could be pretty cool. And if things work the way that I'm speculating, this allows Bungie to remove perks from the game if they prove to be too strong. So instead of dealing with the fact that they have an exotic armor asset that they have to tune, this is just a perk tied to a glorified logo. If they find that they've made the next one-eyed mask, they can just yeet that shit out of the game. Because like I said, they don't have to deal with the fact that they have a broken perk tied to an exotic armor asset. And this might have been kind of hinted at in the leaked B-roll footage, as in a seemingly unrelated event, we see when Darkness Guardians get kills with their super, they drop orbs of power, not orbs of light, or orbs of darkness. Now, this could just be a rebranding of the Orb of Light. I mean, that would make the most sense, you know, given the fact that it would be weird for Darkness Guardians to be empowered by Orbs of Light, but it would be a really, really shitty team mechanic if Darkness Guardians couldn't make orbs for Guardians of Light, and Guardians of Light couldn't make orbs for Guardians of Darkness. On top of that, there would need to be a rework to the Masterwork system. So it makes more sense that they would just change Orbs of Light to Orbs of Power. But what if they don't? What if they want to make a hardline distinction between Guardians of Light and Guardians of Darkness? Yes, I know that's all crazy theory crafting and lots of speculation on my part, so take it with a grain of salt, but I do think there is something to at least the exotic armor thing. Like, it's just lazy enough for Bungie to do it. And you might be wondering, okay, but why not allow Darkness subclasses to use old exotics? Exotics like Dune Marchers, or Synthoceps, or Stompies, which are universal. I mean, think about it. The Aspect Fragment system already displays exotic-like effects. So now take that and pair it with something like Dune Marchers or One-Eyed Mask, with these already overpowered subclasses. That's just a bit too broken. And making it to where Darkness subclasses can't use exotics, they have to use the Aspect Fragment system, means Bungie doesn't have to worry about making exotics for them, which I think we can all agree, like I said earlier, is just lazy enough for Bungie to do. But lazy in that good sort of way where the laziness creates innovation. Like, I could really see Bungie playing around with more experimental exotic effects because they now wouldn't be tied to a piece of armor, so if they're broken, just remove it from the game. Of course, this is just me theory crafting and spitballing based on what I've seen. I mean, they could put in exotics for all these subclasses, along with the Aspect Fragment system, along with the subclasses just being broken. That would definitely be power creep from hell, but hey, fucking details. All in all, I'm super excited to see the evolution of subclasses in Destiny, and I can't wait for this to retroactively come to the older subclasses, because I really want to see what they would do with the Aspect Fragment system if that is a replacement for exotics. And like I've said a couple times this video, I still think these subclasses are broken as fuck. I'm really not looking forward to getting meleeed or tagged by a grenade and having the game paused until I thaw or get killed. I don't think that's going to be fun, and I think it's a stupid fucking mechanic. At least if it works as advertised. And I get saying that will upset all the fanboys and erase all of the positive stuff I said in this video because Joker is a Destiny hater, confirmed, or whatever all the fanboys think. But hey, keep on keeping on. Impotent fanboy rage is the purest form of validation. I fucking love you goons for it. The other thing I wanted to touch on in this video before we close out is the freeze and shatter mechanics. While we certainly don't know much about them, and like I keep saying, if they work as advertised, PvP is dead. DOA. Do not pass go, do not collect $200. With that said, I do like the idea of co-op abilities or co-op builds. Priming and detonating in Anthem was, next to the flying, basically the only thing the game got right, and I'm really interested to see Destiny's take on it. There is a uniqueness to the idea of freezing and shattering mechanics that sort of helps separates these new subclasses from the old ones. More so when Bungie pulls shit like making the new Titan Super or just Frosty Titan Slam. Because a lot of the current subclasses can tend to feel pretty homogenized. That said, I'm still just sitting here thinking about basically what if every PvP mode was mayhem and everyone had tether and fucking suppressor grenades and could put you in timeout. I just no. But more diversity in the way we play is always welcome. Anyways, those are going to be my thoughts. Let me know yours in the comments below. Remember to like, but only if you did. Subscribe for more. Feel free to donate to my Patreon if you're feeling particularly generous. But above all else, stay frosty. Cause get it, ice subclass is Stay Frosty.